you ever lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, quietly wondering where the previous month went? We live in an era of unprecedented productivity tools and advanced time-saving technologies. We have smart algorithms managing our digital calendars, instantaneous messaging applications, and high-speed global transit system. Yet, paradoxically, we collectively feel chronically starved for time than any other generation before us in human history. We rush anxious through our morning coffee. We unconsciously scroll through our glass screens while eating a hurried lunch. We constantly glance at our digital watches during important conversations, silently calculating exactly how many unfinished tasks remain on our endless daily to-do list. This chronic, underlying sense of urgency leaves us feeling perpetually breathless and hollow inside. And we are always preparing to live, but we are rarely actually living in the present moment. You might try to comfort yourself by saying that once this major stressful project is finally over, or once you securely achieve that next financial milestone, you will finally have the time to relax and genuinely enjoy your life. But as you may have noticed, the horizon of true rest just keeps moving further away, like a desert mirage. We continuously trade the precious, irretrievable hours of our present reality for a vague future that is fundamentally unguaranteed. Tonight, let us gently pause this frantic, exhausting mental treadmill together. Let us explore deeply why this specific temporal anxiety haunts modern society, and more importantly, how we can quietly step away from it. The answer does not lie in adopting a new corporate productivity software. The answer is found in a profound, quiet perspective shift that an ancient Roman thinker offered to the world over 2,000 years ago. To uncover the absolute antidote to our modern temporal anxiety, we must travel back in time to the bustling, ambitious streets of ancient Rome, specifically around the year 49 CE. It was during this turbulent, high-stakes historical period that the great Stoic philosopher Lucius Annaeus Seneca wrote a beautifully profound essay titled De Brevitate Vitae, widely translated as On the Shortness of Life. Seneca was definitely not an isolated, quiet monk peacefully meditating on a remote, tranquil mountaintop. He was deeply entangled in the chaotic and often deadly political realities of the Roman Empire. He served as the primary intellectual advisor to the famously volatile Emperor Nero, and he personally managed vast, complicated amounts of administrative imperial wealth. And then he witnessed firsthand, every single day, how the most culturally powerful and financially affluent citizens tragically squandered their existence. He watched weary politicians tirelessly campaign for prestigious public offices they would only hold for a single year. He saw wealthy sea merchants spend decades frantically building shipping fortunes, only to tragically die of sudden illness before ever enjoying their accumulated riches. In one particularly striking historical anecdote from the era, Seneca observed a wealthy aristocrat who was so entirely consumed by his strict social calendar that he literally had to ask his own servants if it was time for him to sit down and rest. Observing this tragic theater of blind ambition, Seneca penned his philosophical masterpiece as an urgent, heartfelt letter to his father-in-law, Paulinus. The central thesis he presented was remarkably counterintuitive and brilliant. He argued that human life is not inherently short at all. The universe has actually granted us a remarkably generous and sufficient span of years. The quiet tragedy is simply that we carelessly choose to waste the vast majority of our time on entirely meaningless trivialities. Seneca offers us three profoundly enduring insights that directly challenge our fast-paced modern lifestyle. His first powerful insight focuses on the bizarre concept of time auditing. If a stranger were to physically steal $100 bills from your personal wallet every single day, you would immediately call the police and violently protect your property. We are universally, fiercely protective of our physical wealth and material possessions. Yet, as Seneca brilliantly points out, when it comes to our time, our only truly non-renewable biological resource, we carelessly let absolutely anyone steal it. We sit quietly through hours of painfully pointless corporate meetings, engage in toxic, draining arguments with anonymous strangers online, willingly allow sophisticated social media algorithms to silently harvest our quiet evenings. And then Seneca's second critical insight deals with the deeply dangerous illusion of postponement. We constantly tell ourselves a comforting lie. We say that we will begin living a truly meaningful life when we turn 50 or 60, or when we finally retire from our stressful careers. Seneca famously and sharply asked his readers why they arrogant assume the universe owes them a safe tomorrow. Postponement is the absolute greatest thief of a well-lived life. It continuously takes away the only tangible thing we actually possess, which is exact present moment. The third and perhaps most piercing insight is the tragic trap of living solely for the applause of others. Many of the relentless ambitions that keep us physically and mentally exhausting ourselves, the luxury cars, the prestigious corporate job titles, the heavily curated digital social media profiles, are not actually for our own internal happiness. They are often elaborate, exhausting performances, carefully designed to impress people we do not even genuinely like or respect. We slowly exhaust our distinctly finite biological lifespan acting as a minor character in a theatrical play directed by society. So, how do we actually apply this ancient poem to our incredibly noisy, chaotic modern lives today? First concrete, actionable step is to begin fiercely auditing your daily calendar, just as strictly and ruthlessly as you audit your bank account history. Tomorrow morning, before you reflexively react to the endless demands of your glaring email inbox, deliberately block out one single, uninterrupted hour that belongs entirely to you alone. Use this sacred time not for aggressive corporate productivity, but for simple, unhurried existence. Read a physical printed book without looking at your phone. Drink your warm coffee slowly while quietly watching the morning clouds shift in the sky. And the second crucial step is actively cultivating the quiet, deeply radical courage to simply say no. Every single time you politely say yes to a draining social obligation purely out of guilt, or reluctantly agree to take on a project you despise just to please a demanding manager, you are literally handing over an unrecoverable piece of your irreplaceable lifespan. You must practice protecting your personal time boundaries with polite but absolute, uncompromising firmness. The third powerful action step is to regularly and peacefully confront the sobering reality of your own mortality. This is definitely not meant to be a morbid or depressing psychological exercise. In classical Stoic philosophy, this grounding practice is proudly known as Memento Mori, remembering that you will inevitably die. When you are deeply stressed about an awkward workplace email or fuming angry about a highway traffic jam, politely ask yourself if this specific moment will truly matter on your final day of life. Recognizing the fragile, finite nature of our beautiful existence acts as a powerful, clarifying optical lens. Suddenly, the petty trivial dramas gently fade away, and what truly matters, deep relationships, quiet inner peace, and strong personal integrity, comes into sharp, beautiful, profound focus. As we gently close the pages of Seneca's profound masterpiece tonight, I warmly invite you to pause and take a long, deep breath. Look around the quiet room you are currently sitting in. Feel the steady, quiet rhythm of your own heart beating in your chest. The time you have right now, this very exact second, is the only true fortune you actually own in this universe. It is a fortune far more undeniably valuable than any pure gold or corporate stock, yet we foolishly throw it away every day as if it were an endless, cheap resource. You absolutely do not need to wait for a quiet holiday weekend or a distant, expensive tropical vacation to finally begin living your life. Your real life is happening right now, in the quiet, seemingly mundane moments tucked between your busy appointments. Let go of the exhausting urge to impress passing coworkers who will eventually forget you, or digital algorithms that do not care about your fragile soul. Reclaim your stolen hours. Claim your quiet dignity and your peace. And in BookDream, our sincere central mission is to gently journey alongside you through these timeless, healing philosophical reflections. If tonight's reading has offered you a much-needed moment of genuine comfort or a clarifying new perspective on your frantic daily schedule, please subscribe and patiently walk with us on this continuing intellectual path. We will warmly return next week with another quiet whisper of classical wisdom, carefully selected to enrich your modern life. Till then, treat your upcoming morning, and every fragile hour glowing within it, as the beautiful, fleeting masterpiece it truly is. Guard your time, love your present. Have a deeply peaceful and profoundly present night.